Turning to Europe now, the European Commission is due to review results of its tests on processed meat. It comes after the Commission and European Union member states carried out tests for horse DNA in beef products and for an illegal horse drug in the food chain. The food scandal began in January when Irish authorities discovered horse meat in some burgers stocked by a number of UK supermarket chains. For more on that, let's cross live to our correspondent Jack Barton in Brussels. Jack, we've heard that Germany has become the current focus of DNA food testing. Why is that?
Well, a few days ago, Dutch officials revealed that two firms from the Netherlands had released 50,000 tons of beef tainted by unspecified amounts of horse meat to more than 500 companies in 16 EU member states. So incredible, an enormous addition to the already ongoing scandal here in Europe. It turns out that 132 of the firms that took that meat were in the Netherlands, but that is already subjected to widespread DNA testing. What we now know is that 124 of the firms that took that meat were in Germany. They processed that meat and sent it out to all but one German state. So now the ministry in Germany that is responsible for agriculture, consumer protection and food safety has launched a massive DNA testing campaign right across the country to try and remove whatever remains of that food, because it is believed that much of it has already been consumed, but to try and get whatever is remaining off of those supermarket shelves in Germany. But once again, this is 5 months after this scandal first broke in Ireland, when officials there revealed that beef actually contained horse meat. And this just goes to show how widespread this problem remains in Europe, despite all the testing that has been underway since over that period of 5 months.
Well, Jack, what's the global implication of this food scandal in Europe?
Well, what it's really highlighted is the complexity of the food chain, not just here in Europe, but right around the world. A case in point is that 50,000 tons of horse meat tainted, beef tainted with horse meat out of the Netherlands. Officials there still have no idea where it came from, not just the supplier. They can't even figure out the country yet where that meat came from, and that's 50,000 tons of meat, just highlighting how difficult it is to trace this. But really what's also been illuminated here is that with the economic slowdown and the economic crisis here in Europe, this problem has been escalating. So there are more and more cases of companies that are mislabeling meat to try and cut costs, to try and cut some corners there, bring down the overheads. At the same time, government departments are being trimmed back. So the very people that are tasked with trying to monitor and track this tainted food are finding that their numbers and their resources are being dramatically cut. That's not just here in Europe, that's in many other countries, in Japan, in the United States. And so they're really having to switch their resources to food that might be dangerous. And these cases of mislabeling are really being ignored to a large extent. Now, companies have stepped in to some degree. Tesco in the UK is an example. That was a company hit hard when its bolognese was revealed to contain large amounts of horse meat. It's saying it will now spend millions every year on DNA testing. It's also trying to reduce the food chain and source as much of its meat as possible locally. But government officials are saying, obviously, it can't just be left to the companies as they try to rebuild trust. More needs to be done. In Europe, we're probably going to see labelling that includes the meat, the origin of country for the meat, not just the product. But it's quite clear that as this problem grows and grows, governments are going to have to come up with some more concrete solutions, particularly in labelling, to deal with this problem.
Thank you very much indeed. Our correspondent Jack Barton in Brussels.